Welcome back to Wellness Wednesday. We've asked our health experts to stay with us and answer your specific health and wellness questions. So please welcome back today Dr. David Buchholz from Premera Blue Cross, nutrition consultant Kirsten Helle, and brain scientist Dr. Brian Smith. Welcome back, everybody. So let me start with Dr. Buchholz. We had a question come in. Are all urgent cares created equal? How do you know if you're going to a good one and getting good care?
You know, they're absolutely not created equally. Urgent cares are supposed to have some basic foundations, including the x-ray I talked about before and labs, but they don't always, but they're supposed to.
How do we find out?
You can actually just call, visit.
Right.
Just part of that preparation. I also think that some are more comfortable with small children than others. So if you are thinking about maybe a child under 3, you have to be much more selective.
So how would you find that out without experiencing it?
You almost have to call, find out if they are staffed with a pediatrician. Okay.
Good question to ask. Kirsten, we had a question come in from a viewer also about sodium. Anytime we pop a can or a jar, people want to know, is this packed with sodium? Is it still healthy? What should we know?
Yeah, well, number one, I always say read the ingredients, not the nutrition panel, because I look for real ingredients. That's it. But the way to get lots of flavor without all of that sodium is just as spices and herbs. So whole ground spices, not the packets that have sodium, chemicals, loads of salt in them. So whole pure ground spices and herbs are phenomenal. And then vegetables. People think, you know, I just have to eat my veggies. They're flavor enhancers. That's, you know, in France there's the mirepoix, in Mexico there's the sofrito. You can grind up, which is essentially what I've done in these jars, is all of these vegetables. You have bitter, you have sweet, you have all of the elements that come out of these vegetables that make your food vibrant and so full of flavor, and you won't need all that salt.
That was so tasty, and besides salt, I asked immediately about sugar because I'm really trying to be aware of that. And you don't use sugar in your product. How do you sweeten things?
So again, naturally with carrots, bell peppers, a little tomato, and plum is what I use. A little bit of plum.
I'm in love with you. I'm in love with this entire process. Dr. Smith, you talked about something that really caught everybody's ear about risk-taking. What happens with kids where, you know, the reward of risk-taking may increase as they go through adolescence. What should we know about that and how to handle it?
A lot of people wonder why teenagers do more risky things, and one
otherwise
of the
known as dumb things.
Yeah, do more dumb things.
Yeah.
One of the analogies that developmental scientists use is it's like having a race car with weak brakes, because the brake part of the brain, the self-control part of the brain, is developing really slowly over time. That's why rental cars won't rent you a car until you're well into your 20s. They know.
It's a very good analogy.
But the emotional side of the brain, the impulsive side of the brain, is developing really fast, and you get powered up by that. And so that imbalance is one of the reasons that we think that kids do a lot of things that we sort of wish they wouldn't. And also, it's a time in life when they have to break out and start to explore the world. And to do that, they have to take risks. Exactly.
So in terms of the prefrontal lobe and the development of executive function, what age do we expect that actually should be happening?
It's happening slowly over time, and so they're getting better at it as time goes by, and we can help them. That's a lot of what we focus on in our programs, is how do we help kids develop better self-control, better self-regulation, and it's something that parents and schools can focus on by helping kids think about how they make decisions and slow down a little bit, pay attention to their thoughts and emotions instead of just reacting to them, but it takes time.
So putting that in school curriculum could really help.
We think it's really important. Yeah, that's a big fundamental part of social emotional learning, is self-control, dealing with your emotions, dealing with your impulses, making good decisions.
And we're talking about mid-20s before everything's all fully developed, right? Yeah, which explains a lot as far as I'm concerned. Kirsten, sugar cravings, how do we deal with those?
Definitely, well, I think you do kind of have to go on a bit of a sugar fast, you know, just cut out the fake stuff. Again, rely on fruits, vegetables, and again, people don't think of vegetables as being sweet, but they are, carrots and all of that, and get lots of full flavor from all of those things, and you usually don't miss them. And then, you know, just making your body feel really good. I have to say, I didn't know what healthy felt like, so before I cut out sugar and all of that stuff and fake foods, I always was sick, and I didn't ever feel like exercising or anything like that. So learning what healthy feels like, just take a week, just get yourself through it, and learn what that feeling is like. You never want to go back.
That's awesome. That's great. So let's talk about injuries where you might need stitches.
Yes.
In the emergency room. One question, and my husband and Susie's husband have both had these incidents happen where we've been in the ER. Can you ask for a plastic surgeon if you're concerned about how stitches are going to end up looking?
You absolutely can, and anytime you have a cut on the face, especially if it crosses over the lip or in the eyebrow, you really should ask for a plastic surgeon, unless the emergency room doc specifically says they have plastic surgery training. They're happy to do that, because those are the most difficult things to repair, so that you have a scar that's less noticeable.
That's important information. And just one very quick, we have just a few seconds, but Dr. Smith, tell us a bit about what surprises you about the brain that you've discovered.
You know, I think the biggest thing that neuroscience has found that really is helpful is that the brain is always changing. The brain is plastic and malleable. We're creating new pathways all the time. So we talk a lot about growth mindset with kids, and it's also true for adults. Because even in adulthood, our brains are still shaping themselves as we work on learning new things.
Keep learning, lifelong learning. We'll be right back.